Hello there. So I've been working on a game engine with AI assistants, and it includes an AI assistant for the last month or so now, and I'd like to show you how it's been going. So I'm just going to share my screen. I'll show you the history. You can see that's today, 19th, and so it's been 28 days, a short month, a short lunar month, or February, if you're in the right year. I will not have my rant about leap years. So you can see most of these commits have been made by AI tools. Actually, the ones with my name next to them, a lot of them are just where they forgot to use the author flag. You can see I would never write a commit message that detailed. Other ones are where I'm updating the submodule for them because paying for them to use Git is stupid, and also Git is incredibly hard to use and they screw it up all the time. So I often add the submodules for them as well because they absolutely suck at that and just burn your money. And there's also a few cases where I'm just looking for one where they forgot to check their things in, and so therefore I check it in, or I find something that just needs to not exist and they forgot to clean up. Occasionally I think this is actually a fix that I did by hand. Yeah, it was struggling. Killer code isn't the best when you give it a weak model. So I'll show you what this actually looks like. I'll start with a command prompt. I'll show you this is a normal regular command prompt. So this is actually important for my demo, but it shouldn't be important for the final product because I have a lot of build cache that was built in the environment of the ordinary command prompt. So I'm believing I'm in the folder already before I am there. So this is a Git repo. It has a ton of submodules in it. That modification is where I have a pre-built version of that library. So you can see there's a load of batch files here. There's a setup batch file, just like Unreal. And what this does is it sets an environment variable for your engine path. It bootstraps the build tool, and then it runs the editor. So the bootstrap for the build tool is probably the first thing I should talk about. This tries to work out what compiler is available, and it has preferences for each platform. So it will prefer Clang on Mac and Linux. It does work with Clang on Windows as well, but if you've got Visual Studio, it will prefer to use that. And it will prefer to use the latest Visual Studio. So here it's using the Visual Studio 2022 compiler that I've got set up. I haven't got a newer version installed at the moment. So this, after it builds itself that way, it then builds itself with itself in the size optimized configuration, which unfortunately is now over a megabyte, which is absolutely gigantic. And I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to address that at some point, but who knows, it's not that important. Once you've got the build tool, you can build an editor, and hopefully all of the editor build cache should still be there from when I last did this. So this should take like 2 seconds. A significant amount of those 2 seconds was setting up the environment. It doesn't cache the link or the resource compile yet. I've been trying to make it cache the resource compile, but I haven't worked out what's going wrong. Same with the link. Now, what is the editor? So the editor has quite a lot of stuff in it now, and the best way to show it is to probably go through the 3 projects themselves, which I've done this before, as you can see. So the build tool can be built in the editor. You can run it, but it's not going to achieve anything because it's a build tool. It needs parameters. The build output sometimes leaves something to be desired. When everything's cached, nothing appears, which I need to fix. I don't know why, because when things are not cached, everything does appear. Now, you can browse all the files of the project. Because it's a command line tool, it's got a very simple interface. You can add dependencies. It only lets you add dependencies that exist with the UI, of course. You can change the platforms. It's a command line tool, so these platforms don't apply. You can add external dependencies, and there's a few that we have available. Again, it's a curated list, and they're set up in a particular way so that you don't have to do anything manual when using them. These are module manifests. Yeah, so everything works by modules. Even the projects are just a list of modules. They may have resources additional as well. So each of the modules themselves can have dependencies, and so this saves having to have a rich project because a lot of the stuff is dealt with in the module. It blobs all these together to do the build. It's very simple. There's no fanciness like Unity builds or anything yet. When I say Unity, I mean that thing Unreal does that we used to call using a single compilation unit. Although they had to distribute it across many. Anyway, that's a bit of a sidetrack. So all this stuff here, we've got this browser. I'm looking for something a bit more. It's just an empty folder there. A little bit more interesting than code files to show the properties of. Maybe I should just go straight for the goodies. So the editor itself is a project. There isn't actually any interface for meddling with WX widgets, and I'm trying to decide what I do about that, if I do anything. Which is kind of a special case. There you go. You see the, there's, if it's an image, it shows you a preview of the image. The most exciting project, of course, is the game project, which it's not really a game. The only thing you can have is this dodecahedron. You can't create a new scene yet or create new objects. You could just make a load of these if you wanted to. It wouldn't be very exciting. It does work. If I run, it should run the last build. Yeah. If I build, it should build it, even though it doesn't need to. No, okay, it was all cached. This is a bit of a boring demonstration in that respect. But you can see that there's a thing here where if you want to change it, you can. Just kind of have a look at what actually is there. So you can see this is the game executable. Huh. Okay, that's a different one to what it ran. Maybe it did the debug build. So I said it did the release build. That's interesting because it loads this scene file here. It looks like this has got a modification from where I was testing something. Yeah, I think it should be by default. But I suppose this at least proves that it is actually loading the data, although maybe there's a bug here. Well, it wouldn't be a demo if you didn't find a bug halfway through. That G, I've tried to fix that a couple of times. I get the AI to fix it, and then it just magically comes back. Anyway, so we've got basic editor stuff. You can move things around. You can't rotate them yet. And that comes with undo and redo. I've tried to add a lot of the niceties that are a ball ache rather than focus on the easy stuff. That's basically it in terms of the core functionality. I mean, you can see there's tons and tons of code here. I kind of want to talk about it, but I won't go into too much detail. It's mostly ported from stuff that I made before. So, other than undo and redo, which is called cut, copy, and paste work, most of the UI works. We've got this console that works. You've got severity filters for messages. It's a bit janky. I want to improve this. Maybe make it use a table instead of just a part of text. And we have help, which I'm quite pleased with because it's very thorough. AI are very good at making help. This bit doesn't work yet. I was asking AI to look at that last night, but it hasn't quite gotten around to it. You can see there's some stuff here that maybe isn't the best, but there is a tremendous amount of documentation in here. And one of the cool things about that is that documentation is available to the AI that I've built into the project as well. So if I open the game project, there's probably a much better. This is going to crash. I forgot about that. Never mind. See, it's not perfect. It's only been a month after all. That crash can be fixed. It's because most of the code expects that thing to only be hidden and shown. But when you open a new project, it destroys it. So you have to do it in this order if you want to do a demo, which I forgot. Yeah, so unAI. Let's get rid of what was there before. Yeah. So what I've got set up locally, which I should start. So you can run the local AI to feed this thing if you want, instead of doing it the hard way. This guy takes a little while to spin up. So this is like a very small version of a reduced form of Gemini, which Google have made available for free. And it can run locally. It just has a bit of warm-up time, which is a shame because I wanted to talk to it, but it can use different backends. So I've paid for Claude as well. All this stuff works as well. It takes a little while when you're using the internet ones because it has to go over the internet and then they have to think over there. And so it tells you about the engine. I don't know, like, tell me about build tool and its use of modules. And yeah, I mean, these things aren't exactly exciting to wait for. It's probably thinking quite a lot because it's going to give me a really big message. So you can see that it does actually know a lot of stuff here. And you can see it's got these. These are a bit janky, but these work, so you can copy things out of the chat a bit more easily. You can see that, copied that. Because those are console commands, you can run them as well. Like if you want to build and run. So if I press this run button, it should do that. Oh, did it fail? No, it says build finished. But run didn't work. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to fix that. It should wait for the build to finish before the build command is finished. I'm yammering a bit. So this is quite cool. And hopefully the local model is working there, just so I can show that. Just clear the chat. It's always better to start from fresh, if otherwise you can imagine it got it from the context it was fed. See, this is a lot. It's not as powerful as Claude, but it's pretty nippy. Can you do a build for me, please? And you can see it can do a build for you. It can do a lot more than that, but I'm kind of fleshing it out, and I don't want to do anything too dangerous in a demo. So I'm quite pleased with that. There's a load of niceties that it took me forever to make this nice, and I had to dig in with my own hands quite a few times. You can see this has got its own notification thing. That's because these things can create so many different types of problems. I really wanted to put something here for that. It wasn't worthy of the top title bar space. There's a load of settings. Most of these work. That's just because those are the 3 I've got installed. I don't think it actually looks for any more, but I want to add loads, because why wouldn't you? I should probably make that a little bit nicer, because it does look a bit dinky. This doesn't work, which I'll address that at some point. And these things, I don't know why they're here, because it doesn't seem to actually use them. Which is a nuisance, although there's quite a lot of code for handling font size changes. Now, what else is there to show, really? It's not really very much. Oh, yeah, so you press the product settings, and of course it opens the project JSON file for you. Oh, I should probably show you the components before I give up on this. Yeah, so if I select the camera, you can see it's a camera anchor, and you can see that those values update. NVIDIA overlay, go away. No. Anyway. I think that's about it, really. Most of the goodness is like all of the incredibly rich UI there is. What is that? Oh, it's because there's so many verbose messages. It's having a heart attack. But yeah, so I mean, I'll just show you. You can close all of these things, and then you can get them back. You can tear off this actual whole thing and move it around if you want, for whatever reason, to make it look like this. I think the toolbar's the same. And then, of course, you might wonder what happens with that. That still works. Of course, I tested that. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I quite like how it's turned out overall. And yeah, I guess that's it, really. Thanks for watching.